So the sun is going in and out right now. Apologize for lighting changes. Tokyo weather. Okay, so today I'm gonna be talking all about my first trimester. Right now I'm actually in my second trimester. I'm about 25 weeks. So I'm gonna try really hard to remember all about my first trimester. But to be honest with you, it's kind of a blur. But I'm really gonna try. Alright, so if you watched my last pregnancy video, you know that I am in Japan. I live in Tokyo. And I talked a little bit about first finding out you're pregnant, about taking an at-home pregnancy test in my last video. So I'm gonna start from there in this video. Okay, so to start, I took my first pregnancy test on June 24th. Okay, and I didn't go to my first doctor's appointment until July 22nd because I thought it was best to wait until I thought I was 8 weeks pregnant at that time. Yeah, I thought I was 8 weeks pregnant. So I go online, I search for English-speaking OBGYNs in Tokyo, and I found a few, not too many, but I chose the one I did because it's a female doctor and it's a small clinic, and I was basically down to two. It was an older male doctor who was kind of close to my house, not too close, or a middle-aged female doctor who was a little further. And I don't know, it's my first pregnancy, so I thought I would just go with the woman doctor, but I really don't. I don't really care if I end up having a male doctor now. Okay, so I went to my first doctor appointment. Well, I didn't have an appointment, I just showed up. You can't make an appointment for your first visit, you just show up. So I went to the clinic on July 22nd, and I gave them my national health insurance card, and that's pretty much all I needed. Oh, I might have given them my my resident card too. So I just go there, and I sat down, I probably waited about an hour, and then I went back into this room, and I saw the doctor. She was really fluent in English, it was awesome. The first thing we did was a transvaginal ultrasound. So you go behind this curtain, and there's a chair. You take your pants off and your underwear, and then you sit on this chair, which is like really high up, and you put your feet on this like stand thing, and you spread wide, and then there's a curtain right here, so you can't see what's going on. And the doctor goes on the other side of the curtain, and my husband comes in after I'm already sitting down, and we have a screen right here showing the ultrasound, and she sticks a thing up there, and this picture shows up, and I actually have the picture right here. It's this, and I measured at that time at 7 weeks, 6 days. It was really quick. She said everything looked normal, and then kind of took a little like heartbeat. I mean, tried to listen for the heartbeat, but we really couldn't hear anything at that time. And after that, the appointment was really fast. After that, we just left. We paid. I have the price here. About $96, and that included the ultrasound and the visit, and also they made a little card for me to like a clinic card, so that I could just show them right when you go to the clinic. You just give it to them, and it makes it a lot easier. I mean, you're forced to make the card, so and yeah, that was about it. I wasn't allowed to make a second appointment I don't really know why. Maybe it was because I hadn't registered with my local city office yet. Oh, I think also at that time we talked about genetic testing. I think that's when we talked about it. Yeah, it must have been when we talked about it. Doesn't feel like it though. It feels like... No, I don't think we talked about genetic testing. Okay, it was either the first or second appointment. I only had 2 appointments in my first trimester though. It was either the first or the second appointment that she briefly told me about genetic testing. So there were 3, and she had this piece of paper and there were 3 different tests that I could take. First one was, and they're all optional. First is NT test, which is an ultrasound, a non-invasive test. And then the second one was an amniocentesis, the invasive diagnostic test. And the third one was a triple marker test, which is a non-invasive screening blood test. So at first I had just planned on doing the NT test and I wasn't really interested in doing the other 2. But by the time I went to my second doctor's appointment, which was on August 19th, almost a month later, they didn't tell me when I should come back for my second appointment. I didn't know when I should come back for my second appointment, and I only went on Saturdays because my husband could come with me on Saturdays. So one Saturday we actually had traveled, so I couldn't go then, and then I thought, oh, it's too early, and then yeah. So I had planned on coming back on this date because I read online that you can get your NT test done up between 11 and 14 weeks. When I went to my appointment, I was 13 weeks and my doctor said that it was too late to do the NT scan. So I missed my chance for that. So now I had to consider the other 2 diagnostic tests. I did end up choosing amniocentesis, but that didn't get performed until the second trimester, so when I do a video on my second trimester, I'll tell you about that. So from my second appointment, I just basically got another transvaginal ultrasound, and I have another little picture here. This one actually kind of looks like a baby. Yeah, so measured at 13 weeks, 0 days. They also did some kind of pap smear or some kind of testing for all the different things, but she didn't actually tell me what they were testing for at all. She just did it, I guess. And then next time she gave me a piece of paper that had like a lot of different tests, and then everything was negative and everything was fine. So then told me that I definitely needed to register my pregnancy at my local city office, and it's true, you really should register your pregnancy so you can get these coupons, and it'll make your doctor's visits quite a bit cheaper. And you also get this handbook, this thing that the doctor will write information in every time you visit, so it's really handy. So yeah, my second doctor's appointment, I scheduled my clinic didn't actually perform the NT test. The amnio. So I had to go to another hospital to get it done, and so they wrote me a referral to go to that hospital, and I would go to that hospital for the next month to get my checkups and eventually get the amnio done. Those were the only 2 appointments I had in the first trimester. I'll talk a little bit about my first trimester symptoms. So number 1 was nausea. Terrible, terrible nausea. I had it from about 8 weeks to 13 weeks, from morning to night. It was not morning sickness, it was all day sickness for sure. I pretty much couldn't eat anything. Everything sounded terrible to me. I had extreme food aversions. To the point where I had actually lost 2 kilos, which is about 4 pounds. And that's not terrible. I've heard people losing a lot more weight, so I'm thankful for that. Oh, my boobs were sore, like I could barely touch them, but that eventually went away. I fainted once after walking not too long. I walked to the grocery store, which was about 10 minutes, and then walked around the grocery store for about 15 minutes, and by the time we were checking out, I had walked out of the store and I fainted, and that was pretty traumatizing for me. But luckily my husband was there with me. But after that I didn't even want to walk around by myself. I think it has a lot to do with low blood pressure. I kind of think I have had low blood pressure like my whole life. And so when I would wake up in the morning, I would sit up in my bed, and I felt like I couldn't even stand up because I felt dizzy, like the circulation in my body was just all messed up. I would stand up, try to go make something for me to drink, and I had to sit down. Like I felt like I couldn't breathe, and I had to lay down because I felt like I couldn't breathe and everything was just out of whack. So, first thing I would do when I wake up in the morning was eat saltine crackers, and they do sell saltine crackers here in Japan. They also sell Ritz crackers. Basically, I was living off of saltines. So I would wake up in the morning and basically come into my living room and lay on the couch because that's all I could do. Even sitting was just made me feel miserable. And I was watching other pregnancy vlogs or pregnancy videos on YouTube, and I had seen one girl recommend this one kind of tea that she was drinking, and it's pretty expensive, so I went to go check the ingredients, and basically the main ingredient was Ceylon tea, black tea. And I know some people are afraid of caffeine or think that you shouldn't have caffeine, but from what I read and what I believe is a certain amount of caffeine a day is fine. So at that point I would have done not anything. I wasn't willing to take medication to get rid of my nausea, though I had considered it. And I did ask my doctor, and she said that there was something that she could prescribe for me, but it probably wouldn't work. So I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to take that. So I just bought regular Ceylon tea. I would make it and then just fill a mason jar with cold water and ice, and I didn't brew it like I didn't brew it for very long. I would just stick the tea bag in the water for a little bit and basically make like a weak kind of tea. And I could only drink cold drinks at that time. So this was like July, August in Japan, which is pretty freaking hot and humid. So I drank the Ceylon tea, cold tea, and I kind of thought it helped a little bit. I'm not sure if it was the tea or the caffeine or what, but I thought it kind of helped subdue the nausea. My biggest food aversions were things that I had eaten in early pregnancy before I had gotten my nausea. Those were things like Japanese food, like ramen, gyoza, tofu, anything Japanese food, or anything oily, I could not eat. I couldn't even stand the word ramen because it was so disgusting to me. Even now, there's no way I could eat it. No, I could not eat it. I could eat things that were like sour, like vinegary things, or cold. One thing I really liked was a Korean noodle dish called bibimbap, which is cold. I made it with somen, like really thin noodles, and a lot of vinegar and spicy, and yeah, that actually sounds pretty good right about now. So from 8 weeks to 13 weeks, I was not eating very much at all, and most foods and smells were also really disgusting to me. Those were pretty much my only symptoms. I wasn't peeing a lot, or I wasn't too tired either. So just my main thing was just nausea and like not being able to stand or walk for long periods of time. I did go on vacation for like 4 days to Okinawa, which was not a good idea, but we had already bought tickets and planned to go there before I found out I was pregnant for my husband's birthday, so I just had to push through. But yeah, I could barely eat, and it was so hot, and I could barely walk. I had to sit down and just like get myself together. So yeah, that's about it for first trimester. I mean, that's all I can remember, to be honest. So I'll make another video about my second trimester, talking about mainly taking an amniocentesis in Japan and prenatal testing. So I've got a few more weeks left until my third trimester. Oh, when you go register your pregnancy tests to get this and your coupons, to get this Bosch Techo and your coupons, you really don't have to do much. You just go to your city office and give them your resident card. And I didn't even have to prove that I was pregnant. I didn't give them an ultrasound or anything. They just believe you, I guess. And I had my husband with me who speaks Japanese, so it would probably be really helpful if you have somebody who can speak Japanese with you when you go visit to get your stuff. And I heard you can also get an English version of this. I didn't think about it at the time because pregnancy brain, so I just have a Japanese version, but that's okay. Yeah, so important to go get that done as soon as you can, and that's about it. If I forgot anything, I'll write it in, I'll type it in. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, and thank you for watching. So until next time.